Hey y'all, it's a beautiful day here in East Central Indiana. It's the fall time and I've just been out foraging, looking at some of the native plants that we have here because foraging is something that I've been wanting to get further into, but I did notice that I had a couple of different mushrooms on my property that I didn't know that I could harvest before. Check this out.
So we're cutting into this for the first time. And we're trying to cut out is these bore holes. Keep any bugs out from the inside content. So
what are you cutting?
And there it is. There's the bug.
Ew.
So a pill bug.
Hey, pill bug.
But it's a huge puffball that we're cutting up.
Yeah.
That we picked the other day. Ashley and Joe found.
Yep. So we had these actually out in our front yard, and these are puffball mushrooms. They're edible. We didn't know. We were joking that we'd both been raised where our mothers were like, don't eat those, they'll kill you. And then we quickly realized that that was just what they told us to get us to not eat weird things.
Look how white it is on the inside,
I know.
which is a good sign that it's good to go.
Yeah, if there was any like yellow or green, these things actually act a lot like meat, right, Mark?
Yep. From what we've read, this is our first time trying one, so we're definitely not experts in any of it, but...
Yeah, I happened to see it on Facebook that people in our area were harvesting these.
It's almost like cheese.
Yeah.
But look at that, those boreholes don't go any further.
They don't go much further. That's good. Well, they're just a little extra protein.
Yeah, let me just stop right here. And the funny thing is, like, you can eat the skin, they're saying, but this one's got some dirt to it, but the nice thing is the skin actually peels off like leather.
Oh, that's satisfying.
Yeah. So we probably will peel the skin off because he's got some dirt on him that might be a little hard to clean.
Yeah, but like they're very dense.
And this is the bigger one. We
Yeah.
also got another smaller one.
Yeah, that one is as big as Joe's head. And here's a picture of that to prove it.
See, here's some more skin that just peels off.
It's really neat.
But yeah, looks good. That was the only two bore holes I saw on that side. Or
how are we going to cook this up?
We'll probably try frying it first with some flour, salt, pepper. We've eaten morel mushrooms that way before. We've picked them before.
Fry it up. Put
some egg to keep the batter on. People also grill these, so you can actually throw them on a grill and cook them similar to a steak. So,
and we were told, what we were reading is that if you do find these for some reason and you pick them, they need to be refrigerated pretty quickly. Yeah. It's not good to let them sit out on your counter because they act like meat and they're full of protein, so they can actually go bad real fast.
It smells good.
It's got that earthy, it's got that earthy mushroom smell.
Almost like a nutty smell. That's one thing. People also use them in lasagna and soups, so you can throw them in there. Yeah, I think we're just gonna slice it, right? Yep, that's our plans. I mean, it's our first time trying it, so we'll have to let you know how it tastes. Now the test. Is it white inside? It is.
Very white. Nice. It looks just like feta cheese. But drier.
Now we will slice it into sections to fry.
It's squeaky. Y'all, they're good. The puffball is good. You can see Mark right now. He's just kind of basting it with like an egg wash. Then he'll put on the flour, which has just a pinch of salt and pepper in it, and just breadcrumbs. Did you use breadcrumbs? Did you use the crackers?
Oh, crackers, yeah.
Yeah, so what we use for like the breading is we actually use Ritz crackers. They're just really, really easy to crumble up and use like as a breading.
That's good flavor.
Yeah, they've got like that nice salty flavor. So we go a little heavier on the pepper in the flour than we do the salt because usually the crackers we use for the breading have enough salt as it is. I'm also a big fan that the giant puffballs seem to come into season on the opposite spectrum of the season when of morel mushrooms. So we go morel mushroom hunting every spring, and every now and then they come up and they're gone before you know it, but I'm glad to know that there's also a different mushroom that comes up in the fall time that has a ton of protein value to it. But I was also back here and saw something else that will help me with my protein intake. Those of you that know us here at Mulberry Ranch Farm know that we are avid bow hunters. We are conservationists. We like to get out into our property, into my mother's property, and to harvest venison every year. And I've just been back on our property and I found this. So anybody that doesn't know what this is, you can find trees like this along deer trails where heavy traffic is. Now the native deer here are white-tailed deer. And around this time of year in the fall, the deer are starting to go into what's called rut. We're not quite there yet, but these are signs that a buck's been through and that he's been marking his territory with his antlers. So he takes his antlers and scrapes it up and down and kind of roughs up all of these different types of trees. And there are glands on a buck's head that kind of leave hormones and pheromones that kind of tell all the other bucks or does in the area what's going on. What are their intentions? Are they a dominant buck? Is this their territory? So that's going to help me for protein intake later on. But I just thought I'd share that with you guys. It's good to find resources to help you know about your local indigenous plants that are good for foraging. Your local Department of Natural Resources might be able to point you in the right direction. You should be able to find all kinds of different books on Amazon. I'm going to link down below the books I use for here in East Central Indiana, which we're part of the Midwest. And it's also important to have some visuals because there are a lot of different foraging plants that look very close to noxious plants. Plants that will make you sick, that could poison you, that could kill you. So while foraging is very important, it's good to keep in mind that not everything you find on the ground or growing is edible and okay for you. So it's important to make sure that you are well informed of what's in your area. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on foraging on our own property, how we got to eat the giant puffballs. And if any of you were wondering how it tasted like a mushroom, a lot like the morel mushrooms, but it had the same consistency of like fish. So it was real flaky, was really, really good. Mark even had a chance to grill it later on. He grilled it just like steaks with lots of seasoning and it was delicious. And I hope that this may encourage you to also look into foraging and to take control of your food sources, to be prepared and to start you down the road of self-sufficiency, because you don't have to have a farm, you don't have to have goats or chickens. Sometimes it's just having a patio garden. Sometimes it's just going to nearby properties with permission and foraging for food that can sustain you from the land in your own local areas. So until next time, guys, I hope that you're all being safe out there and being kind to one another. We're going to catch you the next one. God bless.